Hello everybody and welcome to my visit guide. So this time I hope that I can be completely done with yet another character. This time it's for the Fury Druid. The Fury Druid build that I made before was pretty much, done. It had everything good about it. This is just an enhanced version, the more perfect version, the stripped down version, the more, overall better performer. So let's see what changes there has been. I am no longer using Draculs or laying of hands. I'm using some crushing blow gloves. These have kind of low stats, but they have everything that I could want. They have that nice life leads. They have, well, 8% crushing blow, that should be 10%. And then it has a bit of strength, which helps a lot on the Tomb Reaver requirement, and life and cold resist. Basically gloves like these, they're pretty much for cheap. You can get these, I actually think I've bought these in game for like 5 high runes or something, I don't know. But yeah, they cost pretty much nothing and they really just perform so great on a Fury Druid. If, and this is also just an if you really wanted to get a lot of strength into your build because, well, you don't need the life anyways, then you could go with Gorrents, so they require 185 strength, and those are more damage than any other perfect rolled crushing blow game gloves will ever be. So keep that in mind if you want that maximum damage. I'm using my good old corruption master ring. People maybe recognize this ring from my Yavason, an old guide or whatever, but honestly this ring is it's just so amazing on this build. High attack ring, life lead, strength, and increase resist, which helps so much. Especially, I think it was actually poison resist that I'm gaining a lot from. But yeah, getting a ring like this, it's not easy, but it makes the build that much better. And like I had this for, I don't know, 2 years by now or something. So yeah, it's a great ring and I'm happy with it. And then of course we need to use a second Raven Frost ring. There's just no other option there. If you weren't using siggards stealth build, which again many people can't, then you should go with a life leech on mana leech ring. So um, still life leech on this ring, but mana leech and life leech on this ring. But it's a minor little choice there, cause you do need some mana leech. Like I can easily play the build without any mana leech at all, but for getting that perfect PvM build, it is nice to just have some mana leech. So that is why we go with a bit of mana leech somewhere on your gear. And it doesn't matter how low, it could be 1% mana leech and it would work perfectly fine. But yeah, I don't need the mana leech ring, so that's why we go with a Raven Frost ring to get that nice cold damage and that high amount of dexterity and attack rating. And obviously still we're using Gores. If you want that perfect build, you need to get these upgraded and just aim for like 200 and 210, 205 defense, so it's not quite perfect, so you can still afford it, but yeah, that's a minor little thing. But anyways, there's no other choice than Core Riders, they are just too good to pass up on. Highlight's Wrath, you could go with like an insanity stats amulet. The 1+ skiller is not gonna do that much to your damage. The Deadly Strike is not that needed, it's okay, but yeah. And the rest of the stats, I don't even think I needed the lightning resist. Oh yeah, I actually did need the lightning resist to cap, but like with a better Hellfire Torch and better Nelius, I could easily cap lightning resistance without the Highlight's Wrath. So do keep that in mind, that you don't really need the lightning resist that much. Fortitude. There's just too many good things about this armor here. In general, the survival, the damage and everything is just too hard to pass up on. But for that, sweet rolling PvM build, you wanna go with a Wizard Spike, a Spirit Shield, and a Mage Blade. So for the video demonstration, I will go with this setup just because you don't need Call to Arms. You already have 600 mana, 3000 life, which is insanity stats for any melee builds. And on your switch you actually get access to a really high teleport with these two cheap items here. So it's a great option to be able to teleport just by switching out weapons. And the goalies, I should note here that again I went really out and blew the budget on this shit, but I bought a 715 duel, yeah, a 715 duel, so that is 7% faster hit recovery and 15 all resist. Why did I buy this duel? Well, in my inventory I keep this little duel here, so 37 plus 5, what is that? Well, that's 42, so 42 faster hit recovery. That is the breakpoint for, I think it's the 4th breakpoint or something for Fury Druids in Werewolf. But basically I aimed for 42 faster hit recovery, because getting 86th breakpoint is quite high. You would need a 24% faster hit recovery build. So a build like this just not that so insane stats perhaps, but yeah, if you wanted faster hit recovery to be at 86 or something like that, you would need a build with 24% roll. And lastly, reaver and Ribcracker. Let's take the talk there. Yeah, actually I think I'll just show the inventory first, because those weapons are always such a long thing. So, life. You could go with 3 2020s in your entire inventory. You could go with just attack rating and life, small charms and all that good stuff. It's kind of up to yourself. This is a budget thing. Obviously, if I had a free 2020 full inventory, it would have costed, my entire account just to build this one little inventory here. Probably could not even afford to get that anyways if I sold my entire account. It's very expensive getting good inventory, so go with life scalers if you just want to be cheap. And like again, 3000 life, you see just how much life you get out of something like this. It really does help when you play without cold arms because of the Enigma, Wizard Spike and Spirit setup. But yeah, free 2020s, that's also 20 life, so yeah, choose whatever you can afford. And then I get just a little bit of resistance going there. Now you can see that my resistance now with Enigma is quite a bit lower, and that is why we go with a bit of fire resistant small champs just to get a little bit of even. And then we keep obviously a poison damage small charm in the inventory just to be able to get the same proc as open wounds, so we stop mobs from healing. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the rest of the gear. So yeah, let's get over the important part here. Reaver versus upped Ribcracker Eve. As you can see, as I tested it in the old guide, I attacked so fast with a Reaver, socketed the way that I have now. So that is 40-50, 40-50 and a sword. Now look at the difference here. You can clearly see that I'm attacking a lot slower. It might not seem like a big deal, but it is. The faster you hit, the faster you're gonna proc crushing blow and all those other things like, well, I don't know, deadly strike or whatever. Basically, crushing blow, crushing blow, crushing blow. But then we look at this one here. 50% faster hit recovery, amazing, and 50% chance of crushing blow. Out of this world great, but it's just gonna attack so much slower, and it's not gonna have as much max damage. So you can clearly see the damage now. I mean 4.7k, 3.4k. Another thing also, if you actually did want to use a Ribcracker, you should probably not even get this an Eve version. You should get this as an upgraded normal, and then socket it, with an Act 5 quest, and then get a shael rune in it just to be able to hit faster. You're still not going to be hitting as fast as Cryptic Axe, but you would be hitting faster than the Eve sword version that I have. So keep that in mind if you do want to make Ribcracker work, because this weapon here, Let's just quickly, I'll do some fast math. Yeah, basically, this wyvern, it costs as much as my entire or the gear that I'm currently wearing, if not more. So this wyvern here, it's too expensive. It's just bad. Everybody wants it and nobody has it. That's basically it for the situation of this wyvern here. You're not gonna be paying less than maybe 100 FG on any realm, even on Europe non-ladder, which probably has pretty low prices. This is still an expensive weapon to get. So yeah, keep that in mind. Ribcracker is not as good, and it's just a lot cheaper. So it's a budget thing. But we go for the ultimate PvM edition here, so this is why we do not use Ribcracker. And I think that's pretty much it for the gear, so I think I will cut it here and then we can talk a bit about other things. Okay, so I want to talk a bit about stats. As you can see, 220 strength with the Enigma, 157 without. You need 155 strength in whatever gear setup you're gonna be using to equip Tomb Reaver, which is a lot. It's painful to get that much strength. But you know, it's easy to get it with Enigma if you plan to only use Enigma ever. If you don't even like, if you don't even like Fortitude, you could just use Enigma as the main armor and then never consider using Fortitude regardless. That's totally an option. I threw quite a few points into Dexterity just because I don't need the life. Again, we have 3000 life before Call to Arms, so it's completely wasted getting more life. Dexterity is gonna help on attack rating and all that fun stuff. I think it might give something else. I can't quite remember these stupid stats now for different classes and whatnot. But yeah, it's all about the attack rating pretty much, and Dexterity raw points really do help on that attack rating. And like, I'd rather get attack rating than more life, so that is why we put quite a few points into Dexterity. And again, we're never really gonna be able to cap resistance without some insanity inventory and crazy rings. Like you see, this ring is already crazy enough, but you would need a ring that is even crazier on resist. And maybe even not using Ravenfrost ring to be able to cap resistance using Enigma. So I think that's pretty much it for these stats. We can just quickly go over the merc now. Treasury, Goliams, Reaver Storm. Obviously, there's no other setup for melee, blah blah blah. Everyone knows about this, but yeah, we need this to break physical immunes, and that's pretty much it. The merc itself is also going to do the highest amount of possible damage for any merc setup. There's never going to be a merc setup that's going to do more damage than this. It's also going to survive better than any other merc setup that you can find. Basically, these three items here socketed with these jewels here are completely overpowered and should be nerfed into oblivion. Yeah, but don't tell Blizzard that. Okay. Obviously, skills now. Nothing elemental. You could go with cyclone armor, but it's more a PvP thing. We're never gonna go into rare bear, so none of these skills here. We are gonna max Fury as the priority. Remaining points goes into, let's see, Herd the Wolverine. And then I took extra points into Summon Grizzly, just because, well, what else am I gonna use the, actually no, the remaining points went into Grizzly, there you go. So I actually maxed Herd the Wolverine, which is obviously better than Oak Sage for Fury. And yeah, I mean Grizzly, it's okay. It's gonna do some damage, it's gonna be a decent meat shield and all that stuff. So why not just take remaining points into that one? Because we are not gonna be using rabies, and there's no reason to max feral rates like I had in the old guide. So as you can see, currently it's level 15, mana cost of 3, duration 20 seconds, so the bubbles around you, they are gonna last for 20 seconds, which is plenty. Walk and run speed, so high. Everything is just great, and then the important, the lifesteal 4 to 68%. Even at such a low amount of skills, feral rate is at 1.1 there. It's just, there's no reason to max this one at all. So yeah, remaining points goes into Grizzly and we max Herd the Wolverine. Now, if you really don't like summons and all that kind of stuff, I hate summons as well, pretty much. They're annoying to keep up. You could, of course, max Feral Rage and maybe even get like a decent Cyclone armor or something like that. But there are not many other options like that. It's a pretty strict build, and you kind of need to, decide if you like Grizzly and summons. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the entire thing there. So we can go with some stash items now. Always fun to have that. We use a Demon Limp just for fun, that enchant thing. It's not really needed, but it's still a fun little stash item. Great amulet for that high health build if you really want to show off. They are pretty expensive though, so yeah, maybe skip this one if you can afford. Atmoscarab, this would be without a Reaver's tall merc setup, so Atmoscarab can break physical immunes. Metal Grid for Ubers and other crazy things that you need the resistance and defense attack rating for. Angelic combo, obviously we keep always an angelic combo on melee characters. So instead of this Leech Ring and Hydra's Wrath, you will get lots of attack rating by using these two items. And then we keep a decent mana Leech Ring. So this is the old mana Leech Ring that I actually had in the old guides. Still like it. It has, well, every stat that I could possibly want except for attack rating, so it's great. I guess I could actually do a real fast switch around here just to kind of show a different setup. So again, we can also show the build now. The resistance are still gonna be good even without buck belt, so it's okay. I mean, I just need a bit more fire resistance, but that can be gotten with another inventory on this shit that I'm using currently. So yeah, even without buck belt, it's not the worst resistance. Laying of hands, these gloves would obviously be using for, well, Chaos runs pretty much only, but there are other places like, I suppose, Bale runs as well. These would be used for if you're really concerned about survival in general gameplay, or you are gonna do others, then you just put on these gloves here and you can pretty much never die regardless. Call to arms just for that buff instead of wizard spike setup. Yellow's main, this would be for more faster hit recovery and other decent stats. I think this would actually be a decent enough option for Ubers if you could deal with less crushing blow, but yeah, I still wouldn't use it. It's just not a better helm than Gully's. Sadly, cause I mean, look at this shit. I hate this helm on a druid. It looks so bad. At least Yellow's main look a little bit better. Fortitude. Again, we talked about that on the best setup is just Wizard Spike and Spirit and Enigma. And yeah, I actually think that's pretty much it for the stash items. In the old guide, I also suggested that you keep Grief and a Storm Shield Beard. Those are great for PvP, but this is not really a PvP focused player right here. I'm not that much into PvP, but if you're gonna PvP with this build, you need a Grief and a Storm Shield Beard socketed with a Bear Rune. Yes, there you go. So up to yourself if you want to keep more stash items like that for PvP. Okay, time for some gameplay. I'm in Act 5, one player just soloing. So I want to talk a bit about attack rating. I like to get 10,000 or close attack rating on every one of my melee builds. As you see right now it's 8,000, but just hold on here. Hello Wolverine, are you ready? Boom, 10,000 plus. This little spirit here obviously access your damage way higher together with Might Aura from your merc. So as you saw before when I was in Cold Plains talking about weapon choices, I hit 4.7k damage. Now it's at 8.7k, so that's double the damage with Might Aura and Hurt Wolverine out. And yeah, I mean this stuff here is great. There's really nothing more to say than that. Another thing also that it actually has quite a bit of life, 1,000 life, so it's not gonna die too fast, so that's always great. And then we use the remaining points Grizzly. I like to call remaining points Grizzly. And yeah, just those two things you need to keep up, and that's pretty much it. There's not many, keybinds or anything. You're only gonna be using, well, 2 buttons, and that's it. I would never really suggest that you use rabies, even if you like maxed rabies. It's just not a good spell for PvM. It's a very crappy spell overall. You're just better off hitting mobs a few times with Fury. So I suggest you get Feral Rage on your left click. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, and now I have the bubble up. And as soon as you have this bubble up, it lasts for 20 seconds, everything's great. Then you can run around fast and have high leech. So that is leech on top of the lifesteal that you already have, which is, insane, completely overpowered. And yeah, there's really nothing more to say about it. You're only gonna be using 2 buttons. But, and here comes the great thing. I don't know if you can hear me clicking on my mouse right now, but you're not gonna be clicking on your mouse. And that's the great thing about this build. The only clicks you're gonna be doing on your... Oh man, now I'm dying when I'm talking. Yeah, but the only clicks you're gonna be doing on your Fury Druid is Feral Rage. Because you can hold down Fury. Isn't that nice? So you need to lift your Fury button once in a while. But basically you can hold it down and just have the mobs auto-target. So as you see right now, I'm not clicking on my right button on the mouse there. I'm just holding it down, and the mouse cursor basically auto-targets the mobs themselves. Like now I'm going for the catapult. Boom, you see? Like even if my mouse cursor is way off in the little blue color here. So as you can see right now, the mobs are just being auto. Yeah, I think you get the point now. Basically, this is a great thing to make that ease of gameplay. The easier the gameplay is, better for me. That's just my opinion anyways. I don't know how other people like to, look at builds, how they are fun, but for me to have an easy rotation, that's always a cool thing. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the general gameplay. Wow, now it's actually at 10k. I'm not even quite sure why the damage keeps going up or whatever. That's so weird. Oh, well, I think that's pretty much for the introduction of the gameplay. So we can go do some bit harder stuff now and see how it does in that. Okay, in a semi-full game, well, actually just missing 1 or 2 more players for being full, hell game. So, the first things you need to notice about the build is that you can't cast spells inside werewolf form, which means that they can't teleport in the werewolf form itself, which is just annoying. So when you get into a new game, and I will talk about this as I was using call to arms setup, you first do your call to arms 1 time, then you do your summons, and then you do call to arms again to get call to arms on your summons as well. Oh, and let me just mute these. I know. Christ, these PvPers, they talk so much crap. Okay, but yeah, call to arms is just a bit of a hassle there because you need to do it twice to really get the maximum benefit out. Another thing is that yes, my spirit has 1,000 life or whatever, but it's just gonna die so fast. So you need to be able to look up the corner here and notice when your spirit dies, because again, your spirit really does matter on your attack rating, damage, and all that stuff. And again, the more you hit, the more crushing blows you're gonna get, and crushing blows is very important. So yeah, before too much talking, let's get going. So again, we get Feral Rage up, right? Just those few hits so we can see that orange bubble around us. And then we start using Fury. And look at the run speed, by the way. It's just so fast. The run speed is like, well, not as fast as a trap assassin with burst speed or anything, but it's still about as fast as something like my Yavasan that is currently running with a modest, yeah, it's been way higher, but a modest 150% faster one more. And then you can kind of see my life there, it started to drop a little. That is because Feral Rage dropped as well, so those 20 seconds were up. But if you just remember to keep Feral Rage up, which is not that hard, and every 20 seconds you use your left click, just a few hits and the opens up. And like, I'll let you be the judge of this, but for me personally, being able to do again Chaos Run in a nearly full game, solo, no problem, not dying or anything, I'm pretty happy with that. Oh, and now I'm facing mana burns from these Stormcasters. So, yeah. I can't really deal with mana burns that easily. So I will have to use a bit of potions now. And this is immune to physical, so we need my merc to proc, and yeah, you see that the merc was procced, and boom, it dies. Again, Reaver's tall merc, you cannot, and I will say this, that you cannot play pretty much any physical build without that setup. It's just that good. I don't know if it's, you know, if it really should be nerfed. Obviously, there should be some sort of slight nerf to the proc chance at least, cause I don't want to play any melee builds without that Reaver's tall setup pretty much. Obviously I could use Atmas Scarab Amulet, again that wouldn't ruin the build, but it would also not be a great thing. But like, look at the health now, so I'm at this Oblivion Knight now. It's like dead in 2 seconds. That is just how fast I'm killed with such a high attack speed. And all the crushing blow and all the good stats we do have. And again, it's still a semi-full game on health. Okay, so now I'm facing a bit of a trouble there. Just gonna run back and get a few potions. That was a little too much damage for me to be able to survive that. Maybe I just did the rotation wrong, I don't know. But yeah, there can be some damage spikes where you could cruise, you know, all night long. You would never die if you were just gonna be using Dracul's gloves. Like, that is totally legit. I'm just not gonna use them just because it's less damage. Okay, the last part got cleared pretty easily. I was surprised that it did work out that well. Got a little funny loot here. Okay, that was only one side. So let's see about the ghost armor. Oh, if it just had 3 sockets, this would actually have been pretty sweet. But yeah, let's test it out on the Veil. So again, no time for Feral Rage, we're just gonna hold down Fury and go for it. Oh yeah, and this is on a 5-player game. A few people left while I was recording, but still 5-player Diablo that fast. I'm pretty damn satisfied with that. Oh, and Rust Hand again. I'm gonna find this little thing. But yeah, I don't think there's really much more to say about it. I mean, this is the Fury Druid for me, personally. And no, again, I'm not using bug build or anything. I'm able to survive in chaos in such a high player game. It's just overall really, really great. There are of course some few things I would like to improve, like the inventory, maybe get a bit better jewelry and whatnot, but the rest is pretty much, no, it doesn't matter much, it's all good. So yeah, hope you found this revisit guide useful, and as always, have a good one and see you in the next video.